but but in the simplest terms,
Yeah.
Joybert likes to improve things. I love to improve people. I
Okay.
love to improve institutions. I love to improve products. I love to improve operations. That is the best way. So that's why I am into training and consulting and entrepreneurship. And at
Mm-mm.
the end, I always like to summarize that I am a teacher because
Okay.
trust me, all these things that motivational speakers and trainers and consultants it's just good grammar and good English using to design the word teachers. We are just out to teach and share what we know so that
Okay.
we can challenge people and inspire them to become much better, to contribute to nation building, to continental building, and why not to the global landscape. So that is Javnyuy Joybert, and I run a company called CosDev Group, and CosDev
Okay.
Group focuses on a couple of areas. We focus on training and consulting. We focus on technology consulting. We focus on investment advisory, and we focus on
Okay.
financial services. So we have all of these arms and institutions that handle all of this. Currently, we're rising a young company. We have a team of 13 people that work for the
Whoa.
company, and we're looking forward to being one of the next big things that we can build from the African continent. That is the dream. Yeah. So
Right.
and I get to have the privilege to travel to speak in different countries. I've had the privilege to be in Accra twice, and hopefully next time I'm coming to Accra, I'm gonna give you a shout out, and we connect. And you take me, we'll go eat bangsu. There's a soup. Is that bangsu? Something like that. There's a name.
Banku.
Banku. Excellent. Yeah,
Right. Right. Right.
so I get to travel, have the privilege to connect with incredible people across different countries and cities. And yeah, so that is Javnyuy Joybert. I'm just here to share and for us to contribute and collaborate to improve things across the continent.
Okay. That's Jalvin for you, ladies and gentlemen. He said whenever he comes to Ghana, he's ever ready to go and eat banku. So, all my banku lovers, we have another banku lover all the way from Cameroon joining us. So, as he just said, he's a speaker, he's a trainer, he is a consultant, and again, he is an entrepreneur, and that's where we want to base a much of our attention on today.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people end up starting their own companies or starting
Yeah.
something that you're doing, and then in the course of their doing business or in the course of their journey, they are hit with some kind of challenges. Now, it
Yeah.
might, depending on where you standing or depending on who you are, it might be a complex situation, or
Mhm.
someone will see it as just a something simple situation that they have been approached or encountered. Now, as a consultant, as an expert, as an
Mhm.
entrepreneur yourself, as a trainer, what are some of the complexities that businesses face? And when
Mhm.
businesses face this kind of complexities, how would they or are they able to manage it such that the business does not fold up or the
Yeah.
business does not collapse, but they are able to skillfully manage
Mhm.
this complexity so that the business becomes a sustainable business and a viable business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very, very true and very important question there. Um, you know, we are in a dispensation where entrepreneurship and starting up businesses is it's a very popular phenomenon. And
Right.
sometimes, due to the way that some of us entrepreneurs, the way we brand entrepreneurship on social media, try to talk about our lives, how we are catching planes and sleeping in good hotels and all of that. And other people get to just see as if is that easy, to just start a business and get to actually see it work, but it's not that easy. One of
Right.
the most difficult things to do in life is to create a vision and focus on making that vision sustainable. And
Right.
sometimes the way the vision is burning in your heart, you feel as if you will start achieving it immediately in the next couple of days, and you don't know that's gonna take you 5, 10 years before you start seeing the beautiful light that you're going to do that. And there is no way that you can separate business from complexities. Like, for
Okay.
example, if you
Okay.
talk to any business person, they're going
Yeah.
to tell you that it has become more complicated now to run a business than it used to be 10 years back, especially those who have been in business
Okay.
for a while. Yes,
Okay.
because a lot of things have changed in terms of like, for example, urbanization, in terms of technology, in terms of social media, in terms of many things. The competitiveness is very, very high than it used to
Right.
be. And since more people are now venturing into business, because in the past, in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years backward, when you leave school, you get into a government job. You leave school, you get into a government parastatal. But we are now in a generation whereby a student is still in the second year, third year university, and they are running a very successful online business.
Okay.
They are able to start raising money and running innovative startups. A young person in 2021 can sit in their room and build an app that would disrupt a company that has been existing for 20 years.
Oops.
You get a point?
Okay. Yeah.
That's the kind of business world we are in right now, and it's more complex than ever before. That means we can be, like, for example, look at the advent of the StreamYards, the Zoom, the Microsoft Teams, and all of that. This was not the case 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It was not. It was
At
not as
all.
rampant as it is today. So a lot of things change very fast, and there is no way that you're going to succeed in business when you are not paying attention to the various complexities in business. And this topic is very important in this particular dispensation, especially in Africa, because we need to start paying attention. How will business look like post COVID 19?
Okay.
How was business before COVID 19? You see, and there are a lot of things. And with changes in customers' expectations, with changes in government regulations, like 5 years back, no country was really serious about creating policies around social media businesses, or creating
Right.
policies around collecting taxes for when you do purchases on the internet, especially in Africa. It was not that. So regulations are also changing, where you see countries now are not trying to create VAT when you buy things on the internet. It never used to be the case. Business
Sure.
politics is rising. You see, business cycles are changing, technology is influencing a lot of things, and knowing how to manage complexity in your business becomes imperative with all of these changes that that
Okay.
we are seeing. And
Okay.
coping with complexity of today's business environment is about two key things. So if you're a
Okay.
business person listening to me right now, there are two key things you need to pay attention to. Now, this I'm sharing this from the perspective of, like, somebody who runs a business, and my business I've been able to, to, to experience that growth. I started my business at a very young age in 2012 or so. The advent of social media was not as it is today, especially
All right.
in this sub-Saharan Africa. And as a young person who is 30 years old, I have never faced any major business crisis. Our parents maybe faced the financial crunch. Our parents
Okay.
faced the days that Bin Laden bombed American World Trade Center. Anybody in my age group, COVID-19 is their first major business crisis that they are facing.
Oh, their very
Right?
first shake-up.
That's,
The very
yes,
first shake-up.
the very first shakeup that they are facing. You see, so it becomes more serious that even the older generation and our younger generation need to pay attention to two key things if you really want to manage business complexities. You
Right.
need to start mastering the art of predicting the future of your business and the future of your industry. It's very important.
Okay.
Just sit down and begin to analyze, how will the future of my business look like? You'll be shocked that if you ask many business people, like, where do you see your business 5 years from now? And how do you think that the industry would change based on what you're doing? They're going to be surprised. You're going to be
All right.
surprised what you're going to get. Let me give you a short
Okay.
story.
All right.
When COVID-19 started, I did some forecasting, and I said, you know what? I think that all my speaking engagement will be cancelled.
Okay.
And like a joke, I was supposed to speak in 2020 in about 15 countries, all booked. And
Okay.
I lost all. And
Oops.
about 8 were moved virtually. And it
Okay.
also means that if 8 are moved virtually, not all the 8 are going to use the same platform for me to speak to their people.
Sure.
Complexities come in there. Like this morning, the CEO of the season speaker, she was asking me, are you versed with StreamYard?
Okay.
Right? That is a question trying to understand my ability to manage complexities. Because I
Okay.
could be versed with using Zoom and Microsoft Teams without StreamYard. Now,
Okay.
I anticipated that the speaking industry, the training industry, the consulting industry will not be the same in Africa and even globally. Then I created this course, which I called Virtual Team Collaboration. And I
Okay.
sat down and I selected top 28 um, tools on the internet that if anybody in my business is going to win in 2020, they need to master these tools. And I
Wow.
started learning all of these tools myself. And
Okay.
here's the point. Here's the point. Uh, um, 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 the founder of I'm talking about Mekezia, she was so she was so kind to ask me if I'm versed with StreamYard.
Right.
Now, other clients and other people are just going to say, "Hey, Joybert, we'll be using Microsoft Teams. See you during the session." Now, when you are a professional, that's business now. When you're a professional, sometimes many people don't get to find out if you know how to use something, but the expectations are already high that, hey, look, you say you're a speaker, right? So you should know how to use some of these things. So
Okay.
there's no way that any business person will survive now in the next 20 years, 30 years, if you don't understand how to manage complexities. And one of the best ways is start predicting the future of your business and start predicting the future of your industry.
Right.
Start looking at what are the various risks that may happen and how can you reduce the risks or manage the risks. The
Okay.
second thing to look at when it comes to managing complexities is it is about building capacity. Build capacity in yourself first, because in the midst of crisis, in the midst of COVID-19 like this, many people are looking for strong people.
Okay.
Many people, like one of my clients called me one time and said, Jorbert, all I want is that this company should survive. I don't need profit. Whatever you're gonna do, make sure this company doesn't die
So
in 2020. That was what he was looking at. You get the
right.
point?
Yeah.
So, and many of them did not build capacity in themselves. It could be capacity in terms of managing difficult situations. It could be capacity in terms of managing digital tools. It could be capacity in terms of understanding how to manage chaotic moments in business. It could be capacity on how to manage pressure and developing emotional intelligence. But you need
Okay.
to invest. Any business person, there is no way you're going to manage complexity if you don't build capacity. And one of those
Right.
most important capacity is a soft skill, which we normally call emotional intelligence. Because
Oops.
if you are not careful in the midst of chaos, when chaos comes, you start seeing your 10 years of life that you have been building going down the drain. If you don't have the right clarity, you don't have the right focus, you don't have the right mental toughness, you can crash and your business will crash after you. It's very important.
Right.
You need to build capacity for your people. And that's it also comes back to you, the leader. You need to be motivated. They should not see you really weak. They should not see you crying the same like every other person. You need to
Person is
think like
there.
a visionary. You need to become a chief inspiration officer. Let them
Okay.
see that, hey, look, uh, the visionary sees a future in this business despite the chaos, despite the
Okay.
complexities, they see that. You need to build capacity of your organization to be able to adapt speedily. When
Okay.
you're in a complex environment or in a chaotic environment, one of the most important assets is the ability of your business to actually adapt quickly to the changes that are going to happen. Like, for example, before COVID-19, majority of our programs at our training center were on site. Few were very online, but it took us 2 weeks to move everything online.
Okay.
That is speed. That is speed. because you cannot wait and wait that when imagine CEOs that are waiting that COVID-19 should pass before they start business back.
Okay.
They will still be waiting right now. But the point is, in business, in the midst of complexities, it's very critical for that to happen. So, and in complexities, I want to give some examples so that people should understand really what I'm talking about complexities based on what I've shared so far. There's
Right.
something I
So,
like to call,
Jobert,
yes,
before you share the experience, okay.
mhm,
So you were talking about your business moving swiftly to bring your services online because that
yeah,
was not part of your services prior to COVID. Now,
yeah,
moving with that speed, what was the financial base of that movement? So, like,
yeah,
let's say a business that is not financially strong
hmm,
at that moment, and then there is a disruption to their
yeah,
business plan.
hmm,
How is the movement going to be when it is financially intense? How do
yeah,
they cope around that situation? I mean, you can share your experience on how you did it that
yeah,
quickly. Yeah.
yeah. Very, very, very true. And that is where running a structured business comes in also. Is very
Okay.
important. And that is where the kind of team that you have is critical.
Okay.
Because number one thing that was easier for us is that I noticed that um, technology was going to disrupt our business or enhance our services someday. And that's why a few
Right.
years back I had to get a co-founder, which he was a chief technology officer. He's a
Okay.
chief technology officer intentionally because I say I'm not a tech guy. I'm not. I don't know what a code is. I don't know how to build a website, but I'm the guy who built the strategies and bringing the money and all of that. So
Good.
I
Good.
got this guy said, look, I need to join my team. I'm going to give you equity and all of that because I need a tech guy around because I foresee that where business is going to someday we're going to need serious technology. Secondly, secondly, I'm going back to a structured business. And one thing
Okay.
about a structured business is that you have good financial policies. You see,
Okay.
so people that have been making business, you have been in business already. One of the one speaker once said that um, COVID-19 did not kill any business. COVID-19, COVID-19 was the coven and the grave that they used to bury their business. It means that before COVID-19 was coming, the business was already dead. COVID-19 just became a coven and a grave to bury the business. And what was he
Wow.
trying to say? The business was existing without structures, without systems, without
Okay.
policies. Like for example, you can have basic financial policies which states that okay, for every profit that we make, I don't even care if even if it's 5,000 Ghana cedis or 2,000 Ghana cedis, but you need to let that's the magic and the power of small businesses and startups. Because you cannot
Okay.
start managing small, you're not going to manage when you start making 100,000 Ghana cedis or $100,000 every month. Like for us,
Okay.
every month we have a percentage we set aside for what we call expansion reserves. We have a
Okay.
percentage we set aside for this and this and this. So that all these things are there. That's what makes a business. So that when
Right.
things like this happen, you're not struggling to actually carry out some transition. And I'm not saying
Okay.
that the point now is what about those guys that are still at the startup stage that have not break even, they're not making profit? At some
Yep.
point, they will have to stretch. They may have to learn how to get additional investors to join the business. They may learn how to get a business loan if it's necessary to keep their business alive. But when you're in business, when you're in entrepreneurship, is either you win or you win. Sometimes it's like a do or die. It's a do or die mission. So, but the
Right.
truth is that when you have a structured business, you have a higher chance of having a resilient business. Many young businesses are not structured, and that's why any little shaking, they can struggle. That's why many
Okay.
of them they cannot travel for 1 week and leave their businesses because there's no structure. So
Correct.
that was somebody always say that if you still run a business and you cannot travel for 1 week and leave that business, you are actually self-employed. You are not an entrepreneur.
Okay.
You see, so that's the difference. So yeah, but I would strongly recommend people to invest. Start very early. Start building nice company cultures. I don't care if you're a one-man army, if you're alone. Like I was telling my staff the other time, There are some things I wrote in 2015 as my company policy that I will start doing to my staff even before you guys came. These things
Okay.
I'm doing for you, I am not doing because I'm afraid of you or because I want to please you. I was raising this because when something happened, one of my staff gave birth. And I announced that according to the company policy I wrote down, we are going to pay 50% of their hospital bills.
Okay.
They were shocked. And I'm telling them, there are many things I wrote down 5 years ago that I would do for my team. I would do for those who believe in my vision, even before you guys, I ever knew you guys.
Okay.
So there are these things that are there to fight for you and fight for the business. That is what makes a business. And I wrote these things down when I was alone. I was having just a few volunteers and interns.
Okay.
You see, and that's what makes a good business. You don't need to. The challenge is that many guys wanna start making a couple of $1,000s a month in profitability before they start thinking about structuring their business. And unfortunately, what happens, they they have the wrong culture when they have already entered the growth stage of their business, even the saturation stage, and they start struggling with building the right culture, policies, managing customers, and all of that. And that is actually complexities because you have the wrong
Right.
culture. Customers are coming in, you're trying to build a tutor at the same time. You have terrible staffs because staffs are not onboarded the right way. You're just struggling and fighting with things here and there with different complexities, and that gets to negatively affect the business.
Right.
Okay,
Right. I'm enjoying this. So means you need to have a strong business culture,
absolutely.
structures in place. And then your example that you gave earlier on, you are not a technological person, inclined person. So you got someone who can tell or speak to the times in which we find ourselves. So it means getting
Absolutely.
a good team, having a good company structure or business
Mhm.
culture
Yeah.
also helps it. All right, so now we can move into the examples you were about
Okay.
setting for
Okay.
us.
Good. So I wanted to give a few examples of complexity because now when you say the word complexities, guys are thinking of maybe some things out of space and all of that. We have already given some examples of that. I was talking about a startup ignoring culture and then maybe they finally succeed at a small stage. They're not trying to, like, many startups come to me like, I have very terrible staff. They're not committed. They're only looking at money. They have very terrible attitude towards customers. And I ask them a simple question: how did you recruit them? Because if you recruit people the wrong way, they're going to bring the wrong culture into the business. Now,
Okay.
the complexity is that they have terrible staff who are not committed, and customers are coming and the staffs cannot treat them well. You're now in the middle trying to manage that particular complexity. Another
Right.
complexity could be whereby you already have investors, and investors are demanding higher profits at the end of the year, while the law is telling you that you need to give back to the society through corporate social responsibility. So you're trying to manage
Okay.
how can you give investors more returns and still be able to create impact in the community. Or customers are demanding low prices while the government is demanding more taxes.
More
That's
taxes.
complexity. So you need to learn how to actually manage all of that. Or
Right.
your team is actually demanding increase in salaries, and government is saying, look, we need more money to build roads from you. So we need to increase company tax by at 32% or 35%. That's a complexity. Or for example, if you have run a business before, you're going to understand that one of my friends always say that anybody who is a business person, a businesswoman, is a cheat. What does that mean? You're cheating on your spouse, on your business. What it means is that your wife and your children need your attention, and your business is demanding your attention.
Attention.
You
Okay.
see, sometimes I get to, like, okay, now what? It's 8 p.m. Going to 9 p.m. in Cameroon. Now imagine I'm married and I'm here right now. It's Sunday. The kids want to do that. So complexities. The career needs me right now. The family
Right.
needs me on
Right.
Sunday evening. You see, that's complexities. Sales and profits are dropping while expenses are increasing in the business. You're in the midst of
Sure.
all of these complexities, and it is possible to manage. Those two key things that we shared, it is possible to manage. When you build
Okay.
capacity for yourself, you build capacity for your team, and you're able to do that. And one of the most important things that I spoke about was operations. It's very
Okay.
important to know how to manage operations in your business. If you are not able to manage operations, when complexities come, your business will struggle.
All
And
right.
one of the best ways to manage operations is do what I call knowledge strategy. Knowledge strategy. When you are drawing the strategy, you need to do three key things. Number one, consider how effective your business currently is at using knowledge right now. There's
Okay.
no way you can separate knowledge from business.
Okay.
So, as a business person, ask yourself, how is my business currently using knowledge?
Uh,
Yes, many people can have a business, meanwhile, they're not making good use of the knowledge available. You see,
is it a
the
knowledge
next
about knowledge about sorry, is it a knowledge about the industry or knowledge that
knowledge
you
about the
are acquiring from?
industry, knowledge about the industry, knowledge about customer expectations, knowledge about your competition, knowledge about government regulations. But you need to make sure any important knowledge that can affect your business, you need to know how to actually use it. You see,
Okay.
and the
Okay.
next important thing on a knowledge strategy is to be able to analyze your internal processes for gathering and sharing information.
Okay.
Because if you're in a business whereby information is not gathered the right way and is not shared the right way, especially among team members, especially
Okay.
among core people that directly influence the operations of the business, it is going to actually negatively affect the business. It's very
Right.
important. So,
Right.
and that's why it's good to have a process for knowledge acquisition and knowledge distribution in your business.
Okay.
This is whereby some businesses get to hire experts to come train. That that,
All
that, that, that,
right.
that that could be a process for knowledge acquisition and knowledge distribution. And that's why it's important in a business, human resource person or the chief executive officer should be good at identifying the skills gap, the knowledge gap in the business, and seeking for ways that they can make sure that knowledge management, knowledge acquisition, and knowledge distribution is critical. If
Right.
your people are not advancing in running your business, I can guarantee you one thing will happen. The industry where you are operating will outgrow your business.
Okay.
You
Okay.
want to doubt me? You can ask what Nokia. What happened to Nokia? Many other things happen. One of the things happen is that the smartphone industry outgrew Nokia.
Okay.
You see, so and it's the same thing if you look at, for example, Yahoo search engine, for example. The search engine industry and information analytics and all of that outgrow their technology or outgrow their team. I always
Yeah.
tell my team this almost every time. You need to grow yourself. You need to get skills, continuously study. Because if you are not studying, this company will outgrow you someday. And the only option will be that you'll be sacked, you'll be terminated because they're no longer productive, because
Right.
the company is up there in terms of innovation, in terms of effectiveness, in terms of using technology, and you're right down there. So I always tell them, we're going to do our part. I train them almost consistently, and I get to bring experts to also train them. But what we can do best is to teach you and reveal these things to you. But if you don't catch
Okay.
them and execute them and make them part and parcel of your career growth, you are not going to be useful in this business in the next few years, because it's going to be very innovative and beat you as far as a professional is concerned. The
Right.
next important thing about operations for you to be able to manage complexities is customer insight and foresight. Customer insight and foresight. Employees at any level in business, employees at any level in business, it's critical for those employees to monitor, understand, and act on current customers' needs and satisfaction. That is the insight.
Okay.
What are the current needs of our customers? That is customer insights. What do they need right now? And what can we do at our end to effectively meet these needs? Customer foresight are potential customer needs and opportunities. What may our customers need in the next few weeks, in the next few months? Can something happen that is going to influence their buying behavior that we need to plan and start anticipating towards that? What are the
Okay.
various opportunities that we can create for customers to ease their life and ensure that they have better experience? The
Okay.
third thing about understanding operations to manage complexities is competitor insight and foresight.
All right.
competitor insight and foresight. What are the current strengths of your competitors and what are their current weaknesses? It's critical to understand that. And that's
Okay.
why I always like to challenge when I'm talking to my clients. I always ask them this very funny, interesting question. Who is the most innovative competitor in your industry right now? If you don't know the answer to that question, you are not a serious entrepreneur. Something is wrong with
Right.
you somewhere. Because a serious person knows that, hey, this is the big boy in my industry.
Okay.
If that big boy is not you, they need to know who is the next big boy. Even if you are the one, there should be somebody trailing your tail that if you are not careful,
We'll
is gonna
overtake you.
disrupt you. And in this particular dispensation, they're always much younger guys like 17, 20, 22. They are so crazy with technology, they just build stuff
Yeah.
that this is the only this is that generation, this is that dispensation whereby a
Right.
guy of 15 can build something in their room and it disrupt a company for years that a guy of 20 can never
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're trying to get Joybert back on the line as he was talking about technology disruption. So these are some of the little things
Okay.
that disrupt
I think we
technology. So
lost Ambassador Benjamin for a moment.
yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me? Joybert, can you hear me?
Okay, let's continue.
Right.
The next important thing to look at
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the things that Joybert has been talking about when you have disruption to your company. What are the ways you need to manage them? And he's giving us principles, he's giving up nuggets that hey are going to be a bit very, very, very relevant in our time. He said you need to have knowledge, having knowledge about yourself and about the industry that you are in. It you need to constantly grow. You need to constantly grow. So you know whatever is happening in the industry which you find yourself. So you don't get or stay just as you started some years ago. Things are changing, things are going on. You don't stay where you started. You need to move on because there are a lot of competitors coming in. The competition is growing each and every minute, depending on the industry you are in. The competition keeps growing. New ideas are coming, distractions are coming. And when the distractions hits your company, how do you respond to that so that you remain relevant, you remain sustainable in the environment or in the business that you find yourself? So he said that some of the examples he gave and some of the points that he's giving, that the major one that I take home for today is that you need to improve yourself. You need to improve your knowledge because it is going to happen. The shake will definitely happen. The shake will take its effect. The shake will happen anyway, anyhow. So when you're not ready for it, you'll be shaken or you'll be wiped out of business. And then he also spoke about having a foresight about your business. You want to have a foresight. Should something happen in the next 2 3 years of this business, how are we going to adjust? How are we going to take it? How are we going to take the shocks? Do we have shock absorbers? Do you have some things that are going to keep the company moving so that when these things happen, we're not going to fall flat? So, for example, he gave an example with his company. He said he is not a tech savvy guy. He's not a tech guy. So he employed a tech person who can keep a foresight, who can think into the future and see the next technologies that are going to be useful to their business. And hey, it is happening for them because since he brought on board a technologically inclined person, they were able to put in some strategies. So when the COVID-19 pandemic hit so hard, the whole world, they were able to scale in. And within a matter of weeks, they have pushed almost all their services online so that their services were made open to others. And he gave an example. He said he foresaw prior to the lockdowns and the pandemic hitting so hard that a lot of his um, speaking assignments were going to be cancelled, and out of the 20 he had, he was left with only 8 for him to attend, and even that one, it was virtual. So he was able to pull down about 20 applications that supports virtual training, and he had to learn them. He had to go through them. He had to see how those applications work, because he was going to be online doing his training, because traveling had been bound at most of the countries. Flights were not moving in, and he had to have a new way of doing things. So he had to pull all these things together. He had to learn these applications and be able to communicate virtually with his clients, with the people, wherever they find themselves. And that has helped him. And that has helped him now. And now he sits in the comfort of his office in Cameroon, and he's present in Dubai. He's present in South Africa. He's present currently in Ghana. Wherever you are viewing us from, he is doing this training. He is doing this teaching. And that is because he saw into the future and realized that what is happening now, the distraction that has hit the world, needs another dimension of way of doing his work. He got new tools. He learned new tools. He acquired new knowledge. So if you are an entrepreneur, if you are a starter, and you are sitting not gathering knowledge about the industry you find yourself in, he said, the next distraction that is going to hit the industry in which you find yourself, or going to hit the world economy, you are going to be buried by that distraction. Now, it brings to mind some years ago when Microsoft used to have Encarta. It was more or less like an online library, or an online, library kind of. Whatever you're looking for, all you need to do is just quickly do a search in Microsoft Encarta. I remember those days I walked the streets of Accra with my CD pack with Encarta in it, and I'll be going around to install for people. And when there was a distraction in the world, or distraction in the system, now I don't remember the last time I saw an Encarta CD from Microsoft. Now everything is online. Google search, Wikipedia, they are doing all these things for us. So hey, get knowledge about the industry you find yourself in. Get knowledge about where you find yourself, because the next distraction that is going to happen to that industry, how is your business going to be sustainable? Yeah, how is your business going to be sustainable? Do you have Mr. Joybert? Joybert, you here? Joybert, can you hear me? I think I can see you at the background. Can you hear me? Right. So that was an example. That was an example of distraction that happened in the world. And then nowadays, the next one is transportation. We have the Ubers, the boats, the Yango in Ghana. But some time ago, we had to walk all the way to the bus stop to pick these taxis, or to join a bus. But now you can sit in the comfort of your home, and then with an application, you can request for a ride. There was a distraction, and somebody could sit down and focus and came up with a solution for us. Social media. Some years ago, you start your business and you'll be sitting in your own place, and then you'll be sending flyers, you'll be doing signposts, you'll be going from office to office. But now, people are running businesses in the comfort of their home by the aid and help of social media. They are able to blow out their adverts on social media. They are able to gather the following. They are able to get the base, and then they are able to send to them what service or product they are running. Isn't that wonderful? There has been a distraction to the industry, but those that were learning around, those that were seeking knowledge, those that were upgrading themselves, they didn't stay as they are. They made a change. They made a change. When their cheese was moved, they find a way to move to another cheese station where they could make more cheese or where they could get more cheese. So when the distractions hits the industry, hits your business, what are the shocks that you've put in place? Do you have some base? So for Joybert, they were able to yeah, he's back again, Mr. Joybert, you back again.
Yes, I'm bad. Unfortunately, I
That
have
that
some
was
internet issues.
that no that was a business complexity that hit us, and we had a lot of shock. We had a lot of shock absorbers to be able to keep us still in business. So right, I'll hand it over to you so
Absolutely.
that you complete it out for us. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
yes, yes. Let me do that and round up before I was almost done, and then we can do some few questions. Okay, so I was talking about how business people can be able to manage operations that will enable them to effectively manage various business complexities because when you have strong operations in your small business, what I don't care if it's a business where your capital is just $2,000 or $5,000, when the operations are strong and effective, your business can be able to withstand incredible complexities that may actually come your way. And the next thing I wanted to talk about before the internet was embarrassing us here was
Ha 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 ha.
mastering. You need to master discovery skills. There is something in business called discovery skills. What
Okay.
can you do with discovery skills? Discovery skills is that ability to draw connections between different ideas and contexts. Like you
Okay.
can look at different things and you can pull them together and find some connections that you can leverage on and be
Okay.
able to create a new opportunity. For example, there's this business guy around uh, uh, um, in my quarter where I am living, and we are talking. He was just my neighbor, and he was not employed in the midst of COVID-19. And
Okay.
then I don't know, we are just talking, and then we discovered a business while talking. And
All right.
the concept was, you know, he could ride a motorbike, and he's very popular in the quarters. I was like,
Okay.
people are afraid to go to the market to buy. Why not just get this protection gear for COVID-19, get face masks, get your boots, get stuff, and start being that delivery person because people already know you in
Okay.
the community and they can trust to give you money to go buy and you charge them. The amount we ended was $2. That's about 1,000 francs. $2 for people to pay him to go to the market and buy and bring. And that's how I started the business. And for
All
about
right.
5 to 6 months, he was the one buying stuff for various people in the quarter, and they were placing their command. Sometimes they place the command on WhatsApp, and they send
Okay.
the money through his mobile money. You
Right.
see, he just go buys, use the bike, and then come delivers. So he was able to merge some context or some different ideas. The bikes he can ride. He's very popular in the community. Parents know him, kids know him, and all of that. Almost, he's a very popular guy just in the community. And then he,
Right.
he could use the WhatsApp, combine all of this. He was able to create a business.
Whoa.
And then sometimes in a day, he's able to make, imagine if he delivers for 20 houses, that is almost 20,000 francs. And that's a lot of money for a day.
Right.
If he does that for 30 days, it's better than 99% of civil servants in my country. Because any civil servant earning more than that in my country is a thief. So so that is it. You're able to do that. Another thing about discovery skills is that you have this tendency to question assumptions. You have this
Right.
tendency to question the status quo. You have this
Okay.
tendency to ask questions. Why is this always happening like this? Why can't we do it differently? You are
Okay.
so good at disrupting old patterns to be able to create new patterns or
All
suggest
right.
new patterns. That's what discovery skills can do. You
Yeah.
see, and discovery skill is also a habit of looking at what is contributing to a problem before rushing to a solution. That's discovery skills. You begin to look
Okay.
at, but really, let's forget about the problem itself. What is causing the problem first?
Okay.
Then you begin to look before you start focusing on the solution, so that you are not using cosmetic solutions to solve a problem that needs very committed solutions and even bigger resources or a bigger team. If you have the ability to network and broaden your set of relationships with different people and leverage on these relationships to grow your business and also contribute to their own business, that is discovery skills. But if you are that kind of person that you're always in isolation and you're alone, you don't have discovery skills. Like, for example, any entrepreneur following this show right now or later on, that is a sign that you have discovery skills. You are not comfortable with the fixed mindset. You are not comfortable with it being in isolation. You
Okay.
understand that for you to build a very thriving business, you have to connect with the right people and
Right.
broaden your set of relationships, broaden your knowledge, and you can
Right.
use that for the success of your business.
Yeah.
To conclude, and I can get some questions after that, the truth is that as companies grow, as leaders begin to lose the grasp of all the elements that are intertwined when it comes to managing a business, lack of understanding and practice of some of these things that I have mentioned will lead to the slow growth of any business. And I've
Okay.
always emphasized assumptions and guesswork has never built any incredible business. Any
Okay.
company you admire was built from the place of commitment, deep analysis, and full total responsibility of the visionary and the team members. And when you do that, you are able to effectively manage complexities that comes your way because there is no way you can avoid complexities. The only way to avoid is to stop being a business person and become an average employee and sit behind a desk. But even if you sit behind that desk, you will have complexity that will come at your level. The difference
Okay.
is the pressure of the complexities on the founder will not be the same like the kind of pressure you have as a normal employee. But the business that will stand in Africa post COVID-19 are for businesses and visionaries who master the art of managing complexities in the next 10 to 15 years because we're going to have more of these coming. Because as new companies are rising, new technologies are rising, we're going to have new regulations. We're going to have changes in customers' buying behavior. We're going to have changes in how we move money, changes in
Okay.
technology, changes in people living in rural areas coming to urban areas, changes in different things coming up. And all of these, they're going to create opportunities and they're going to create complexities. And people who can manage complexities and opportunities at the same time are the ones that are going to win in the business landscape in Africa. Thank you so much. And I can get some questions.
Wow. Wow. People that can manage complexities and are able to manage opportunities at the same time are those that are going to make it in the current climate in which we find ourselves in the world. Whoops. Thank you so much, Joybert. This has been wonderful. You've clearly taken us on a level that we now understood what the complexities are. Because I think earlier on, the questions that were coming were what are the complexities that he's talking about. But when you were able to break it down for us to understand that the complexities are the kind of disruptions that happens in the
Mhm,
course of the business are those complexities, because we're asking, do we have a higher degree of complexity and a lower degree of complexity, or all the distractions or complexities can be merged as one? There is no grade. Do you have grades of complexities to a business?
Yeah, I think so. There are great. I mean, somebody who runs a business that cuts across different countries, there are kind of complexities. Like in Africa, I don't know what our leaders are doing, but they need to hasten up. I need to stop trying to get a visa to come to Ghana, get a visa to go to Kenya. That's complexity. So, uh, um, somebody who speaks just in Cameroon doesn't go through that kind of complexities,
Okay.
right? But if I get to travel to speak, I get to go through all of that unnecessary complexities. So, it also depends on the size of your business, the size of your market, and the
Okay.
boldness in your actions to dominate more, in various areas. And of course, it will be in terms of crisis. Like, for example, the COVID-19 affected almost everybody around the world. But
Right.
before COVID-19 came, there were some countries that were handling their various crises just in their countries. So it was in a smaller scale at that time. When
Right.
COVID-19 came, it was much bigger, and it
Right.
affected because anybody was affected in
Right.
business or in an economy that is going places. When transportation is affected, everybody is affected,
Everything.
whether you are poor
Right.
or rich.
Right.
If money,
Right.
if
Right.
people cannot move, goods cannot move, money cannot move, everybody's gonna struggle, and that affects. So yeah, there are higher ones and there are lower ones, and it all depends on the size of your business,
Of your
as
business.
when you're going to. Yeah,
Right. So definitely what is going to shake an elephant is different from what is going to shake an ant.
absolutely, that
So
is it.
depending on your size and
Absolutely,
the kind of shock absorbers you build for yourself, that will depend on how you're going to wave through whichever distraction that you're going to have. So,
yes, yes.
on behalf of the African Seasoned Speakers Network, we want to say a very big thank you for such a wonderful time. One of the comments that I'm receiving here is that I really appreciate the idea of discovery skills. And that is something that you've done there. You've planted a seed this evening, this afternoon, this morning, depending on where you're watching from. And that is it. And for me, my take home from this presentation is knowing about your industry, that ability
Absolutely,
to learn about your industry, learn about how things are changing, what are the laws that are being made concerning your industry, what are the competition in your industry, how are things being changed in your industry, and how
absolutely.
is your work culture even in your own workplace, so that when something hits you, when there's a complexity that you are faced with as a company, as an individual, as a system, how you are able to overcome it.
Absolutely.
Joybert did that in their organization
Yes,
when they were hit with a challenge. They were able to quickly move their service and product online, so that wherever you are, you can still have access to their services and product. Now, to you
absolutely.
that you're viewing and watching, how have you managed the complexities that have hit your industry in the COVID-19 pandemic? How was your company able to resist it? Or how was your company able to make use of the opportunities that came with it? Well, that is a take home for us.
Absolutely.
Learn about that, learn about it, and make sure that whatever you're learning about it, you are also having a foresight into the industry you have there. Thank you so much, Joybert. It has been a wonderful trip to Cameroon and back to Ghana. And we
Awesome.
promise you that anytime you're getting back to Ghana, your bank will be ready for you.
Awesome. Thank you
All
so
right.
much. Thank you
So
so
do you
much.
have anything that you are doing currently? Anything that you are working on currently? So you want to share with us, and then where we can find you, any social media handles or your website, so that we can still follow up with you, because a lot of questions will be coming up. So
Yeah,
we want to see what you're doing currently, any of the social media handles that we can follow up
yeah.
with you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. We are always up to a lot of things. Currently, I can say that we are currently running a mini MBA program for
Okay.
entrepreneurs and
All right.
anybody who has found themselves in the business world, which they did not anticipate. So we have created a mini
Right.
MBA program that runs for 3 months. We have had students from South Africa, from Dubai, from the US
Oh,
who have taken the program, and the
wow.
testimonies are mind blowing. When you can check my social media handle, I'm going to see some of the testimonies. And
Okay.
the next class is starting this December. And some of these things is I'm teaching business unusual. I'm teaching business from another level, teaching business like
Right.
somebody who has done it and somebody who has studied business as a scholar.
Okay.
I have a doctorate degree in entrepreneurship and investment. So
Okay.
apart from that, I run a business and I consult with businesses. So I've combined all of this scholar perspective, practical perspective, and I've built incredible curriculum that uh, we run at our center. It's virtually online. Anybody can take it from anywhere, and you can be able to do that. And of course, you can find me on all social media handles: LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Javnyuy Joybert, my two names on the screen, and you're going to see me. Or you can just Google search Javnyuy Joybert. You're going to see a lot about the guy. And of course, javnyuyjoybert.com. You can join the two names and just add .com. And you can go to blog. I have more than 700 articles on business, productivity, entrepreneurship. Most of the things I've shared, you are going to find it there. And of course, I have an upcoming program. If you are following me from Dubai, I'll be in Dubai in the next few days. I am hosting
Whoa.
a master class in Dubai for some entrepreneurs and some different people in the next few days. We can connect on social media, and I'm going to give you details and locations, and we can catch up in Dubai and talk some business in a detailed dimension. Thank you so much, Benjamin. Thank you to the whole team that made this happen. I had so much fun, and of course, happy to stay connected with all of you.
Right. That's the man for you. Thank you. Those of us in Dubai, we are ready for you. We are ready to welcome you in Dubai. So,
Uh,
viewers, as I always say, never give up. It is possible. You can
uh,
do it. You can do
you,
it.
you do.
Just learn about your industry. Let's move forward. And as I always say, always remember the dreams are in level. So make sure
Absolutely.
you get to you get to the top level of your dream and you're going to make it. See you next time on the Power Impact series. My name has been Ambassador Benjamin Oswansa, and it was a lovely, lovely time having you around. Right. So catch you the next time as we move on to that. Have a wonderful time. God bless you. Whatever you do, remember that it is possible. Just know what you're doing and you'll be able to do it. Thank you. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. All right. So have a nice time. Meet you again. God be with us all.